A man risks his life to end slave labor in India. Safe haven and new beginnings on the mean streets of San Francisco. And a home for AIDS orphans in Zambia. Dreams of sanctuary, next on The New Heroes. Major funding for The New Heroes was provided by the Skoll Foundation, additional funding provided by Calvert.
Calvert, investments that make a difference.
Listen. Imagine how life will be.
What is it that makes a person a hero? Is it the risk they take? Or the lives they change? There are people in the world today who are offering hope instead of despair. They are the new heroes.
Hello, I'm Robert Redford. Conventional wisdom says that only governments and great international institutions can help the poorest people of the world. But there's a new idea taking root. People are applying business skills to solving social ills. They're unlocking the power of human individual potential. These people are a rare combination of saint, politician, and hard-nosed business person. They've been called the change makers or social entrepreneurs, but whatever the name, they are the new heroes of our time. In this episode, we'll look at the often dangerous work they're doing to provide sanctuary from slavery, crime, and death. Although it's not officially illegal, India has millions of enslaved people. They're used by criminals to make inexpensive goods and perform the hardest manual labor. And many of these slaves are children. Kailash Satyarthi risks his life every day to end the horror of child debt bondage. His dream is that no child should ever again be a slave.
At 5 a.m. on a January morning, activist Kailash Satyarthi is leading a raid to free slaves held at a stone quarry owned by the Indian mafia.
We plan secret raids, undercover operations, keeping everything very secret because the secrecy and speed are the two key factors in conducting such secret raids.
Kailash is a veteran of many raids, but this one is especially dangerous because here in the state of Haryana, the mob is famous for killing those who dare to cross it.
We have lost one of our friends there. He was shot dead in the stone quarries when we were trying to rescue some people. So this goes on actually.
Among those in the lead car with Kailash is a woman who worked for him as a spy and lived among the slaves in preparation for the raid. As they approach the shacks where the slaves live, she tells Kailash that they have at most 20 minutes before the mob goons show up.
We decided that we should go very early morning so that nobody could be alarmed and nobody know what is happening. And everybody was surprised because when they slept last night, they didn't know what would happen next morning. So they were shocked.
For all the urgency, Kailash knows from experience that if he scares or rushes these people, they won't come. Their wariness is born of knowing what will happen if they are caught trying to escape.
If they are caught, any kind of torture is met to them. They are beaten up severely. They are burned with the cigarettes. Sometimes they are tied down on trees and beaten with stones. The women are raped in front of everyone. These kind of things happened in the past.
Each family has just a few minutes to decide whether to trust Kailash and leave behind the only life they've known, or stay at the quarry. Fortunately, many of the slaves have come to trust Natanya, the spy, for she shared their hardships for months.
The people here had to work 12 hours a day, every day of the year. If there was a truck to load, they had to work 18 or 19 hours. And anyone who so much as dared to talk out of turn would be beaten up by men with clubs and abused horribly.
Even as a kind of hysteria builds, Kailash remains calm.
It's very difficult for them to realize or internalize the freedom because they are born and they grew up here, and some of them are old while working here in slavery. So it takes some time for them to understand what is this freedom. अब तुम अपने घर जाओगे आराम से कोई डरने की बात है
Then, suddenly Kailash realizes that things are not going as planned. The truck that is supposed to carry everyone away from the quarry is nowhere to be seen. Unknown to Kailash, the driver is too afraid of the mobsters to come. Kailash begins to load as many people as he can in his car, but he knows that if the goons come, most of the slaves will be trapped. Then, the tide turns. Kailash's allies have convinced the driver of the truck to carry out the raid. When the ones holding back see that escape is truly possible, they take the leap too. As the truck pulls away, one woman is beside herself. Her husband was sent away on a job by the quarry owners, and she can't leave it. 3 remain behind. 52 flee. This is Bal Ashram, the village which Kailash Satyarthi has built as a kind of halfway house for rescued slaves. As word races through the village that Kailash is back, everyone comes out to welcome the new arrivals.
We were expecting to release about 20-30 people. We don't know how many are there. We have to count. I think they are more than what we expected, I think. This is the process of some sort of a small victory of liberty over slavery.
All of these children were once slaves. In India, starving people sell themselves into debt bondage to survive, and then find themselves trapped for the rest of their lives. Their owners illegally buy and sell them, and corrupt state governments get a cut of the profits.
People believe that slavery is abolished, but it is not true. We still see children, women, and men enslaved virtually as you see in the medieval age. They have no freedom at all.
The first thing rescued slaves experience here is a welcoming ceremony. Kailash focuses especially on the children.
To begin with, I called a boy and asked him to tell his name. He was very timid, he was very slow and very shy. Then I called another boy from the ashram who has lived in the same conditions. He was also a slave boy. And each time they speak their name loudly, some sense of self-confidence goes inside.
The ceremony is followed by something far more important from the rescued slaves' point of view. For years, they've been on the edge of starvation.
It looked that they were hungry for ages to have good food. They ate a lot and a lot and a lot. They ate so much. They have no idea about their future, so they wanted to eat as much as possible.
The future for these people is extremely uncertain. As members of India's untouchable caste, it is very difficult for them to find jobs, and neither their government nor most of their fellow citizens care about what happens to them. After 3 days here, the rescued adults will be taken back to their ancestral villages where they will try to begin again. The places to which they will be returning are desperately poor. But one of the former slaves has no doubt that freedom is better than slavery.
अब हमारा भाग्य हमारे और भगवान के हाथ में है.
Now our destiny will be in our hands and God's.
स्वयं कमाएंगे.
And at least we will be able to earn our own money.
When he was 12 years old, Kailash Satyarthi began working to give India's poor a chance. Ever since then, he has been driven by a big idea, that the way to abolish slavery in India is to see to it that no child ever becomes a slave. He is fighting the battle on 3 fronts: in his town, in his country, and in his world. His town is Baal Ashram. The parents of rescued children are told that their sons and daughters can remain here for 6 months and take a crash course that will prepare them to go out into the world. Though parting from their children is hard, almost all the parents embrace the opportunity.
In ashram, we bring the freed children. We have about 100 children stay with us. We impart them basic education because we feel that education is the key to liberation. Education is key to empowerment. Education is key to prosperity for the future. So education is on the top of everything.
The oldest children are taught trades that will help them earn a living. The younger children are given intensive courses in reading, writing, and arithmetic. The goal is to make it possible for children who have never heard of school to return home and attend class with their age group. And then Kailash hopes they will become the leaders of a new India.
The purpose is to inculcate the leadership among the former slaves. They go back home, they take responsibilities and risk, they rescue other people, and it is happening. Some of our former child slaves are now activists with us, and they are the ones who are liberators.
But to abolish slavery in India, Kailash needs more than Bal Ashram. He needs to reach the entire nation. And so he has begun spreading his simple idea that no child should be a slave to every village in India. This is the village of Sothana in rural Rajasthan. With the help of Kailash's organization, it is becoming a child-friendly village.
It's not possible to change the society without starting from the bottom, from the villages and the communities. So we had an idea of creating child-friendly village to make the entire world child-friendly. In a child-friendly village, it is necessary that all children are freed from labor and exploitation. Children attend the schools, and the village leadership recognizes the voices of children to help them out. So if these things happen, then we announce that this village has become child-friendly village. And that could be enlarged as child-friendly district, child-friendly state, child-friendly country, child-friendly world.
But Kailash knows that it's impossible for villages like Sothana to change the world by themselves. One reason there are millions of child slaves in India is that people in other countries are willing to buy the cheap goods that the slaves manufacture. And so Kailash and his allies also have a strategy for changing the world. Their first global crusade is focused on the carpet industry.
Children are used because they are the cheapest source of labor. They are physically and mentally vulnerable. They could be forced to become slaves easily. They are not allowed to even meet their parents. If they make a silly mistake, they are beaten up, they are branded. Sometimes if they try to run away, they are killed.
Many of the children at Bal Ashram are former carpet slaves.
I worked night and day, and if I fell asleep, they would beat me. The first time I escaped and returned home, my father immediately sold me again.
To put an end to the use of children in the carpet industry, Kailash and others have founded a non-profit group called Rugmark. Manufacturers who carry the Rugmark label are inspected to ensure that they are not using slaves.
Me and my friends started a campaign in Europe and United States to educate the consumers. Keep on buying the rugs made by poor children in slavery. They are also responsible for the perpetuation of that system. The only way to ensure that you are buying a clean carpet without child slavery is the Rugmark.
But for Rugmark to work, people in India, Europe, and America have to want to put an end to slavery. Kailash views the worst enemy as apathy. The feeling that in a world filled with billions of people and tens of millions of slaves, nothing can be done.
The people from everywhere in the world should feel, number one, that slavery is bad, the exploitation of children is bad. It has to go. And secondly, they should have a belief that it is possible, it is happening. It is not that it is very pessimistic that, oh, they are poor people, they are poor countries, and nothing could happen. It's not true. The poor people, the poor countries can bring about change, and it is happening here. So they should have a belief that the change is possible. We can make a better world to live with, and that will happen.
This rug has the rug mark label. It's a guarantee that no debt bondage slaves were used in its production. There are many kinds of enslavement, even in a land of plenty like the United States. They include drug addiction and crime. In San Francisco, one woman's trust in the human spirit, coupled with her entrepreneurial drive, is giving ex-convicts a last chance at redemption.
Hey, Mike, even though you're putting a load on there, you got to make sure that you inventory it and make sure every piece is there. I'm the manager of the Delancey Street Movement Company. We have about 80 guys. I oversee all operations. Here, let me help you guys with these pads. All right. You guys need help up here, Ollie? Oh, I think we all right. I was a guy that was in and out of jail my whole life, and when I got to Delancey, I was 27. It's nothing I can say bad about Delancey. I'm sorry, they saved me. I could imagine what I'd be doing. I'd probably be dead, or I'd probably be in penitentiary for the rest of my life. No questions in my mind. Here, you gotta make sure the colors stay the same. Which load is this? This is the Washington load. All those 13 or 14 years I've done bad, I'm trying to do good to help people. So this load right here actually goes out here.
There's 1 million routes into Delancey Street. You can get paroled to Delancey Street. Probation's one.
After you get a chance, you want to get a wardrobe and just put a wardrobe like that or a mattress box.
Sentenced instead of going to prison is one. The Delancey Street process is 2 years because, you know, there's a lot of things people have to accomplish. They have to get a high school equivalency. They have to learn 3 marketable skills. What's also true is it takes about 2 years for the judge inside somebody's head to stop hating themselves and to believe that they've actually earned who they've become.
All right, you guys, I just want to say, first of all, congratulations for everybody getting to the moving company. You know, when you come to Delancey, we come here because of, you know, whatever. We had problems in life. And you go through maintenance, which is a phase where it just basically teaches you how to wake up at a certain time and, you know, follow orders. You guys proven that, and you got off maintenance. You guys got to remember that Delancey Street is a nonprofit, so we don't get any money from the government. We generate our own money through, you know, the businesses. One of them is a moving company. All I ask from you guys is to, you know, be honest, have a good attitude, you know, and be courteous. You got to remember, you're going into people's house now, and you have to be courteous and you have to be professional.
Every single person who comes into Delancey Street, there's this little piece that's like a kid, and they really want to make it, and they don't even know what make it means, but they want to be good. And then there's this series of old habits and cynicism that's pulling on them, and it's a tug of war to have them reach the best of themselves. And it isn't that some people can do it and all people have both. Average residents illiterate, average residents never worked at a job, average residents never even worked at an unskilled job for as long as 6 months. So, you know, it's just a history, a cycle of failure. Moving is awful for people, and they can go make these people feel better. They can do the work for them, they can reassure them, they can be kind to them, they can be kind to the things that represent these people's lives as they move them. And for them, that's a way of balancing the scales. What do you do with your life if you've done a bunch of things that you're ashamed of and that you're guilt-ridden about? You can never undo them. The only thing you can do is put in the scale good things, more good things, more good things, until it tips.
1, 2, 3, go.
And there's more good to what you're doing in your life than what you've done in the past that you feel so awful about. So moving is an incredible opportunity to do that.
Okay. Pull it back a little bit. We gotta stand it up. Okay, I'm gonna drag it out. There you go. Turn. Take it out. Down, down, down. Pull it back, you're squishing me. Pick it up. Okay. Got it. Turn. Okay, come on, let's go. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Got it. You gotta slide that way. Come on. There you go. Beautiful. Come on, bring it up. Okay. There you go. There you go. Okay, stop. There you go. Come on. A little further. Watch the wall. Watch the wall. Okay. Papa Willie. Papa Willie. Go. Push. There you go. Come on. Okay. Well, you guys remember, that was the easy part.
This is the official move, the real move right here. That ain't easy. Whew, pianos, huh? Okay. Okay. Learn how to, be a team. Really be a team and be a part of the moving company. Things that I haven't done before in my life. Being a part of something. Instead of, being a loner all your life. I was in jail. I was facing a lot of time because I've been in and out of jail for about 17, almost 20 years now. I don't have no violence, though. When I was 16, my mother died on me, and, I've been using drugs. When my mother died, I started smoking crack cocaine. That's the only thing that I say, instead of going out hurting people. That's the only thing I could cope with. But that was just a lie, it was an excuse, what I should have did. I should have just kept doing on good things what my mama taught me to do. But now, since I'm here in Delancey Street, I have a chance to better myself, get my Class A license, get my GED, stuff that I haven't did, because I didn't know how to read and write. I feel like I'm coming along pretty good. I'm better than where I was.
Bottom, he's got the bottom. Put it down. Let's roll. We got 15 boxes. It should be probably the same size. Ask them if there's wardrobe. That people give you, and they tell you, okay, go to Delancey Street if you want to learn to stay out. These were guys in prison that told me this. They said, you want to stay out, Rudy. If you keep coming back, you're going to do a lifetime here. You already gave us 24 years. Go and try to make a life for you and your wife and your kids. I said, well, what? And they said, go to Delancey Street, they'll teach you how to make it. And they're right. So I've been there 3 years now.
You see somebody like Rudy, he is generations into crime, prison, gangs, drug dealing. And for people like that, they don't even know that they're in despair because this is the only life they've known and it's the only life they've seen.
All the plants that we just planted, have you guys seen it since you planted it? You helped plant
Instead of just running at the end of his 2 years, he asked to stay a third year. And in this year, he's not only learning new things, but he's giving back. And he can see himself as not only hopeful for his own future, but somebody who can give a future to other people.
It's got a little color underneath it. This tall stuff that looks like grass, that's weeds. Just pull it out.
This is grass too, right?
No, that's daisies.
That's daisies.
Those are daisies. I did, my first conviction was kidnapping, which was kind of a funny thing, but I mean, I guess by law that's what it is, it's kidnapping. The 11 years stretched out to like 15 and for stabbings and stuff like that. Some of the activities we did inside, I mean, it just added more time to you. I wasn't rushing to try to get out, so it didn't matter. Now I want to get some more of these here and put it all, pepper them inside the middle.
We've had residents who left and then died, and we've had residents who had to go back to prison, people who didn't make it through the 2 years. And I take it all personally. To me, these people really are my family.
Okay, artists, I'm gonna gather everybody in one spot because it's hard.
I understand that I'm not so grand that I can control someone else's life, but when you care a lot, it eats you up.
Let me taste them. They're different. But they're very good. They're cheesier. I cook it, 5 more minutes.
About half the people come into the restaurant having absolutely no idea that they're in any kind of a social program at all, just a restaurant. And we have on the back of the menu a description that it's a training school of the Delancey Street Foundation. And usually they've given their order already and the waiter's chatted and the waiter goes away and they kind of close the menu and then they're reading the menu and they look and see all these people, have been in prison and homeless and drugs and hit bottom in every way they possibly can. And they usually, the waiter comes back and they kind of look and go, but not you, you're so nice. You couldn't possibly have all these problems. It's just an instant image changer.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check on the calories real quick.
That's a little bit too much. We want 3/4 of a cup.
That's it right there.
No, 3/4?
3/4 is here.
Okay.
All right?
Got it. That's 1 1/4 cup. We're looking at liters here. Let's put it around. That's all right.
Here's a guy, Daryl, who came out of the special housing unit at Pelican Bay Prison. That's for what the Department of Corrections thinks of as their worst, bottom of the line inmate is being held there. And he came after he finished his sentence, and all the odds are against him.
It gets hard to find a job nowadays when you don't have any kind of history. Like you've been missing in action for 10, 15 years. They want to know where you've been. There's been times when I thought I had the job and then all that came up and it's kind of heartbreaking, And, I'm 35 now and you start getting older and everybody else has got their stuff together and you don't, kind of messes with you a little bit,
You just put them against the wall for right now.
I'm kind of interested in the moving company because that could turn into a trade for me. Keep studying and get a Class B license, maybe a Class A license, and that could give me a trade that I could survive with. You know, the seriousness of it all, I had to make a change, you know. And this is it. This is the best way to do it, you know. I always wanted to change, but I didn't know how, you know. My hand first.
Although you came here because, you know, you hit your bottom with endless problems and long, maybe life prison sentences and, you know, people who didn't want you, blah, 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 problem. When you come into Delancey Street, it isn't about your problems anymore. It's 33 years later. We're huge. We have properties and endless thousands and thousands of graduates. Nothing about the place is any different. Every day is like starting Delancey Street all over again, because it's just all new people. And to see the heights to which they can rise in every level, it's just unbelievable. And it is inspirational, and it therefore says to me, I have no right to not fight as hard as they do. Okay, congratulations to everybody for everything.
Mother Teresa said being uncared for and forgotten causes a much greater hunger than having nothing to eat. The AIDS epidemic in Africa has left hundreds of thousands of children orphaned. Government agencies are overwhelmed, and these forgotten children are left on the streets to fend for themselves. In Zambia, a lucky few find their way to Moses Zulu. He's created a sanctuary for AIDS orphans, a place where they can smile and laugh again. He calls it Children's Town.
It's 6 a.m. in Children's Town, a small school in the middle of Zambia. The next 24 hours will make a difference in the lives of 300 children here. Audrey Simfukwe is a teacher, and today her first responsibility is to wake everyone up and have them begin their daily chores.
The children who are here, they are between the ages of 8 and 17, of which in these dormitories they are divided according to their families and according to their age. That is how they sleep. These children are from the big cities of Zambia, Lusaka, the Copper Belt, and we have a few from the surrounding villages who are orphans and vulnerable children. When we put them in families of 8, they'll sleep in a room of 8, and then they'll be able to help each other. That touch which they lost when they became orphaned, that is what we are trying to instill when they come here. That's why you have seen that these dormitories are set in such a way that it's a home. Let's go to school. It's time up. We go for morning tea. Okay.
So in addition to being a teacher, an educator, you're supposed to be a parent as well.
Yes, I'm a parent as well in the Children's Town. It calls for a big heart and love.
At 7 a.m. sharp, Rose Kasongo rings a gong, telling the children to gather. Rose is 16 years old. She's the youngest of 5 children.
I just came here to Children's Town when my parents died.
Both of your parents died?
Yes.
I'm very sorry. Do you know how they died?
No, I don't know, because by that time I was very young.
How old were you when your parents died?
I was 4 years old.
Children's Town was founded in 1990 with just a few children in 2 tents. Now there are 120 children who live full-time in the dormitories and another 180 who come from the surrounding villages.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Okay. We all look bright, eh?
Yes.
Can we have a common song before we have some announcements for you?
Love your sister. Love your neighbor. Love your brother. To make a way. Everybody's talking about love. Everybody's talking about peace. Everybody's talking about togetherness to make a way. We are happy to be together. We are happy to be together.
Moses Zulu is the project director of Children's Town. His passion to lead comes from the fact that he was severely beaten by his father when he was a child. He is determined to help all vulnerable children, not just AIDS orphans.
The mission of the Children's Town is to provide a supportive environment of these former street kids and other vulnerable children, destitute children that have been abused, that have been exposed to dangerous vices at their tender age, so that there is this supportive environment, providing a home, a school, and skills training center, and above all also to provide rehabilitative care to these children, that they become useful citizens.
Classes take place in the morning in grades 1 to 9.
Separate schools. I can see a boy reading a book under a tree, eh? Very good. Margaret, what can you see on the picture?
Good morning, class.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Thank you. My name is Doreen Chilala. I'm a grade 1 teacher at Children's Town, and also I'm an HIV and AIDS coordinator in the school. The children in my class are coming from different backgrounds. Of course, all of them are orphans. They are actually vulnerable.
How difficult is it to integrate a child off the streets of Lusaka, an orphan, into your first grade class?
It is quite difficult when we are starting, but eventually when we are able to actually capture their mind into school, then it becomes a lot easier. Okay, wasola solai. Amugambira. Munuti bora mugwacha wambwana.
James Chama, Alex Chinyata, and Peter Jobvu all came to Children's Town from the streets of the nation's capital, Lusaka. When his mother died, James ran away from home because his father beat him. You lived on the streets for many years. How would you get money?
We are just asking, begging in the street. They are from the people who are just passing. We ask for some. When they give us a little, then we buy food there in the street.
And when you didn't get money, when people didn't give it to you, what would happen?
When when we have asked for money, then people have not given us any money. We just go in the bin, and then we take those leftovers that they are throwing there, then we eat.
In the garbage?
Yes, in the garbage.
Moses found Alex on the streets of Lusaka, took him to a social services agency, and then brought him here. How old were you when you were begging on the streets?
7 years.
7 years old?
Yes.
The children here are grateful for the opportunity given them because they know what the alternative is. And this is the alternative. The streets of Lusaka, Zambia's capital, home to 75,000 orphans. AIDS orphans used to be taken care of by their extended families, but no longer.
In Zambia, we have very much respect of extended family. We didn't know an orphan before, but because all orphans were taken care of in their uncles, aunties' homes, in their grandparents' homes. But now the economical situation is not able to cope up with this situation. And then because of that, these children find themselves on the streets because there is no bread in their homes.
Moses works with social service agencies to identify which orphans will enroll in Children's Town.
A child who's on the street is a child who has been exposed to a lot of vices. And this child has developed hate. This child has no passion whatever. This child has no love at all. This child has no respect of even himself or herself. He sees everybody as an enemy. He can't trust anyone.
It's an excruciating decision, deciding which ones will benefit from Children's Town. Most are left on the streets. Those who are picked know full well that they are the chosen few. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon at Children's Town, practical skills are taught, such as art, business, and farming.
But are we sure this weed is not going to choke our maize? It is so good.
Alpha Kabamba runs the skills training program. He's proud of much here, particularly the 10 hectares of corn the children are growing.
We are trying to help the children understand that with their hands, they can be able to feed themselves. So that's the whole concept, because even when they graduate, they should think in the same way we are doing things here. The way we've organized our farm is such a way that the corn, that's our staple food here. Then besides that, we have cash crops like paprika, cotton, and soybeans.
Money raised from the cash crops is sending 57 students on to high school, which is not free in Zambia. Alpha runs the animal husbandry program as well.
Other than just learning how to take care of the animals, we also use it as a therapy for rehabilitation, because we try to connect a child to what surrounds that child. We tend to help them to love the animals, because in the streets where they came from, they never appreciated anything that is surrounding them. But when they come here, we try to connect them to nature. Besides that, we are also using it for our consumption. So we are able to subsidize our budget. And then also for their well-being afterwards, when they have graduated, they are able to replicate what they are learning in the Children's Town and be able to practice that, especially those we've resettled back in the villages.
Moses dreams of increasing the farming into a commercial operation so Children's Town can become self-sustaining. He wants to get electricity and an irrigation system to these fields.
Now, out of our own hands, we are able to feed ourselves all year round on 10 hectares. What more if I have machinery? That doubles it.
In 1992, you had no electricity.
No way.
You now have electricity.
We have electricity.
But you need to get it to your field.
To our fields. We need it in the animal production, the piggery, in the poultry. We can grow cash crops, which we can export, because there's so much that we can do in this country. But we need entrepreneurs, and the children already have become entrepreneurs.
In the afternoon, Moses and field officers from Children's Town visit a local village as part of their outreach program to help identify orphans. The idea is to help these villages take responsibility for their orphans and to inform them of the children's rights.
We are in Chilikwela village in Marambanyama area. This is one of the villages where we have brought Children's Town activities to assist the orphans and vulnerable children, and mostly those that have been orphaned of HIV and AIDS.
How many children are orphans in this village?
We have a number of 60 orphans in this village.
60 orphans?
60 orphans.
Out of a population of how many?
Out of the population of 2,500 men, women, and children.
7 children from this village attend Children's Town. The others go to public school. But Moses finds that some are not attending any school at all.
Out of 45, now we have 15 who are not going to school. So when I am able to stand in front of these local headmen, I'll say, the greatest enemy ever you can have is ignorance. We are going to reach 4,000 children in the district.
How we look after our rooms, we have new beddings, new mattresses. We've just come back from the holidays, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, so the point is
Toward the end of the day, Audrey meets with her family to discuss any concerns they may have, from difficulty with a math assignment to a disagreement between 2 children. It's the kind of love and attention any child would want, and these children in particular remain thankful.
The time when I came here, I didn't know anything about myself. Now, by now, I've been taught how to read, how to write, how to welcome the visitors, how to pray with my friends, sharing good ideas. So I've learned more things in Children's Town, yes. This is where we have given education, where they have given everything we were looking for. So we can't forget Children's Town even when we graduate. This is our real home.
At the end of the day, a soccer game and a song. Here, amidst all the sorrow of a raging AIDS epidemic, in a country with almost 1 million orphans, these children have been given hope and a chance to dream.
Children's Town is actually a model. From the very beginning, that we develop a model that if we run it effectively, we at the end are satisfied with producing a citizen, because this industry will be happy if the product is quality and the customers are happy. And I see that also in children, that at the end of the day, we have a citizen who is responsible after passing through Children's Town.
As we've seen, people cannot begin the process of improving their lives until they're free from violence and exploitation, until they find sanctuary. But that's only the beginning. In the next episode, we'll see how appropriate technologies, thoughtfully applied, can unleash the power of human potential. I'm Robert Redford. Thanks for watching.
Meet the new heroes and find out more about how social entrepreneurs are changing the world. Visit us at pbs.org. In India, a doctor with a vision helps the poor and blind see again. In Kenya, appropriate technology makes the savannah bloom. And in Brazil, a singing cowboy electrifies the rural night. The technology of freedom, next on The New Heroes. The New Heroes series is available on a 2-part DVD set for $29.95 plus shipping and handling. The companion CD is also available for $14.99. To place an order, please call 1-800-440-2651. Major funding for the new Heroes was provided by the Skoll Foundation, additional funding provided by Calvert.
Calvert, investments that make a difference.
We are PBS.